Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dusty Barn Gaming Podcast. I'm Sterling, and I'm joined again by a very familiar face, Splicko. What's going on, Splickety?
What's going on, gamers? We're back at it for round
Look
2.
At you. Back again.
Fucking 4 months later.
Hey, but this time around, though, I gotta tell you, bro, every Sunday I'll be recording.
We had this one cooking up for a while.
And this one we're doing right now, we've been having cooking up since we did the first one. I mean, as soon as we got done, man, I think I gifted you the game and had the idea, you know. But today we're going to be talking about Iron Lung. Now, this is a game by David Szymanski.
That's how you say it?
Yeah,
Bro,
totally.
I swear to God, I was just going to go through the entire episode without saying his name because I didn't know how to pronounce it.
Respect to the man. I'd love to get him on here. I mean, that would be some low-key fanboy shit. I'm a big fan of his work. Dusk is amazing. That's like the obvious one. I mean, if you know Dusk, he's the man.
Yeah, Dusk goes hard.
Without a doubt. But today we're going to be talking about Iron Lung. Now, what's funny about this is shit got busy. We put this off, and then all of a sudden, Markiplier, who I don't really give two shits about, honestly. I mean, you know, he can do his thing. I'm not hating. But he, you know, all of a sudden I hear all kind of announcements. He's involved in a movie or film of some sort based on Iron Lung.
And
Which is quite interesting.
Yeah,
I mean,
no offense to the guy, but I mean, if there was ever a dude to trust with making a horror movie of all movies, especially a video game horror movie, it would not be one of the golden age like horror game YouTubers where like a little black and white JPEG pops up on their screen.
I mean, I'm not gonna. That might be being a little too harsh. I mean, he might wind up doing a great job, whatever he does.
Yeah, I mean,
I just thought it was.
I'm not exactly waiting for his downfall, but I wouldn't say I have the highest of hopes. But I'll
Fair
definitely
enough.
watch it.
Oh, certainly. I mean, the game is interesting, man, and we're going to talk about our experiences with the game. Because this was an interesting experience, just getting into it, honestly. And I can't wait to talk about it. Splicko and I have not spoken at great length or at short length about the game. So this is really the first time we actually get to sit down. The point was to sit down and talk about it.
There has been no length whatsoever.
Correct. So this isn't as much a review as it is like the impression it left on us. I think that's kind of what I said to you earlier.
Yeah.
Your feelings, getting into it, going through it, finishing it, the type of reflection you might have gone through or not gone through upon finishing it.
Yeah,
that type of thing, you know.
I definitely will say that I wouldn't say you like talked the game up too much, but you definitely made it sound like it was gonna be a life-changing experience.
Did I really though?
I swear to God, when you before you gifted it to me, you were like, dude, I was like in deep contemplation for days after playing this, and I'm playing.
I was in deep contemplation. I don't know about for days. I definitely thought thoughts of it lingered afterwards, but I didn't take it as a life-changing experience by any means.
All right, fair enough.
I just want to clarify that.
I'm just blowing it up for comedic effect. Nah, you just said you were like thinking of it after, but I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly was, and we're gonna get into it.
Yeah.
So, the first thing that I thought when I was getting into it, right? Very inexpensive game, first of all. So it's not a long game, and that's to be expected with a cheaper game. I think it's $6 on Steam.
It's actually $5.99.
Oh, okay. So you can keep your cent to yourself when I say the prices of things. Thank you. So I'm getting into the game, and honestly, I kind of had this moment where I sat, and I kind of leaned back and went, and I think you might have done the same. When I realized what the core mechanic of the game was, in essence.
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying.
Which is blindly navigating on X and Y coordinates. I mean, you know, to give a little backdrop for the game, You're a prisoner. I'm probably going to do a shit job explaining this, but I'm really giving a condensed version just so we have some basis to talk off of. But you're an inmate of sorts. Your only chance at freedom is boarding this submarine that's very shittily crafted, not made to last. Really, just you kind of know you're going out to get some photos for the powers that be, and you're on borrowed time. I mean, this thing is just bound to
It's an
just
aquatic jalopy.
collapse within itself and crush you with it. So it's really a hopeless affair, and that's really the big effect that the game has, is the hopelessness of it all, I think. But basically, it's like, okay, go under. You can't see anything because it's blood. On a moon, by the way. It's like a body of blood, not water, on a moon. So you're in this shitty submarine, and we don't have any window of viewing. Now, I've seen some videos of mods and shit like that where you can actually get kind of a view going, which is pretty interesting. But it wouldn't have had that same effect. Now, at first, the game put me off big time. As soon as I realized it was like the blind navigation, I was like, oh shit, man, this is, it. I didn't know what to expect, but this was. It seemed convoluted at first. Now, once I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna do this, bro. Like, everybody's talking so good about this game that there's no way they're all wrong, right?
You'd be
So I
surprised.
don't. I guess so, but in this case, I saw the charm in it, really. So I said, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna see this through. And once you start getting moving, man, and you get the hang of it, it really is no problem. I think I might have crashed once, honestly.
Yeah, I'd say the when I was looking at the tags and it said horror, I definitely would say the scariest thing you can do to me is make me do math. But I
And not see, do math while not seeing. That's fucking terrifying.
do math under threat of death. But yeah, I'd say like once you like warm up to it, it really becomes like second nature. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, totally, man. And it just was really immersive in a different way. When you think of immersive, you don't exactly think of being confined, right? But this is kind of like an immersive confinement sim in a way. And it's funny because you're focusing on the coordinates and traveling, and then they have like this instance or two where you have to kind of like leave the controls and use the fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
And it feels like an FPS for like 20 seconds. But it's funny that other than that, you're really like kind of like pressing buttons on the control, moving forward, not moving forward, moving back, not moving back, that type of thing. And we're kind of like inching our way to the end of the game. Now, what's interesting is the game. It's funny because I said lore and you said or the lack thereof. But some of the holes that they don't fill in kind of leave some intrigue. And I know you kind of the little bit we did speak of it, you kind of stated that was I don't know how you would define it, kind of a like placeholder
Yeah,
horror.
I will concede like it definitely like there is merit to like that kind of like world building where like there's things you say and then there's things you don't say. But I did feel at least a little bit in Iron Lung's case that there's kind of leaves a bit too much up, like just for the sake of like I guess like building tension. Like there's I don't know, it feels a bit like I, I wouldn't say the word is contrived, but it's just like, oh dude, you're on a moon and you're a guy taking pictures in a submarine and also the lake's made of blood. It's like I wouldn't I don't want to be so like rude as to say it's ham fisted, but it's like
Ham-fisted.
but like I don't know. I feel like maybe it does its job a little too well, while also like not like saying too much. Which you could
Does
argue,
its job a little too well.
yeah,
And that
like
sounds like a compliment.
almost. I mean, I don't know. It's just like I guess I'm expecting like a little more like substance to it. It's like
It's a short $5.99 experience.
fair enough. I mean, you could say all free to play games are masterpieces in that regard, but
I'm totally right because
yeah,
it's free and it's endlessly replayable to someone who enjoys it. So, but look, everybody's entitled to their opinion, man. The fact that we have different opinions makes it way more interesting. If we were both sitting there jerking the game off, I don't think it'd be the same conversation.
yeah. But on the other side of the coin, I'm not saying like I don't want to sound like I'm too negative. Like usually, like when I make fun of a game, or not even make fun of a game, when I just point out some of its flaws, it's usually out of a place of enjoying the game and wanting it to be better. I'm not just doing it for the sake of
Right? You're just a cynical fuck sometimes. That's all it is, man.
on the daily.
So when you show your love for things, there's going to be a little touch of hatred.
Yeah, I'm prickly like a cactus.
But going through this, I really, you wonder what the end result is, and of course, the end result for anybody who's familiar with the game is a jump scare, and it's basically just over.
It's a fish JPEG.
Fish JPEG. You kind of ruined everything with the thumbnail you made for this because it. When I think of Iron Lung, I really think of the thumbnail you made. It's hilarious.
Oh, bro, I swear to God, I could put like a mosaic over it or some shit.
A mosaic.
Or what do you call it? Just like make it like kind of blurry, look like a church window or something.
You want to just throw a sepia filter over it?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know. I like it how it is, man. To be honest with you.
I swear to God, I forgot I even made the thumbnail.
This shit is so funny, dude. I remember you put my face from an old ass picture inside of like the window.
A little baby submarine.
And the live reaction.
Toys R Us.
Excellence. But yeah, you kind of ruined it for me because now I think of that thumbnail and I kind of laugh. And I didn't initially laugh at Iron Lung. But in essence, man, it's funny. You're not going to get a long review on this one, but it's a $5.99 experience. It certainly is. It's not a life-changing experience, but it's a great little horror adventure. Just a short little. You go in, you feel the lack of salvation, and then you hop out, man.
And you take some pretty sweet photos.
That's essentially what the game does to you. You might have some lingering thoughts. There's a lot of shit in the computer and the terminal in the back. You could really spend a lot of time digging through that shit and read a lot of interesting lore, you know. I kind of watched some videos touching on it because I'm not going to sit in the game and like search down all these commands and I'd rather see somebody else do it and just kind of soak in the lore. But there is a lot. I don't know if you were aware of that, but there's a lot to it, really.
Yeah, there was this. It was, I don't know why, but I just like was on a kick randomly of like, dude, I'm just gonna watch a bunch of Iron Lung videos.
Me too. I did that at one point after, and you see, that's what I'm saying. That's the effect I'm talking about.
And
you were still curious about it when you finished it. You know what I mean?
Which I guess you could say is like a .4, like all the vagueness like in the game, because like not knowing, like, it obviously it makes you want to know, and it's not rocket science, but like I thought that not knowing, like, because obviously it's a game, so like in the confines of the game it's like, oh dude, I don't know what I'm doing in here, what's this big ass fish, and then it makes me want to know like the technical side. So like I'm watching this, it's like a British dude, and he's like, well, actually, you don't move the submarine through the map, but actually there is a map and it's completely rendered, but you're off in this void, and it somehow like mimics your like movement with the coordinates.
Just shatter the illusion.
And when you take a picture, it takes your location on the map, and then it actually takes a picture of the 3D model.
That's just clever game design, bro.
Honestly, I like it's so, like, when he said it, like, it's so crazy, like, hearing it, like, I can't even explain it. It's so, like, it's hard to wrap your head around.
But don't you agree that that's clever game design? Really?
Yeah, that's honestly,
if you're gonna make a short experience like this with such a cheap price tag, face value. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, do you expect like a engine from the ground up, like open world, like running, jumping? I don't understand, you know. If it was meant as a criticism, I don't understand. because I understand the technicalities of it, but at the same time, one, don't shatter the illusion, and two, don't discredit the man for clever programming.
No, trust me, that's not my.
Oh, I'm not saying it to you. I'm just saying in
Oh yeah.
general.
Now, honestly, I've gotten in some pretty knockdown, drag out, heated arguments with my friends about like indie games versus like AAA, and I would say that like that's the kind of thing that makes indie games like so awesome, is like not having this gigantic budget and this massive team. Like you really do have to do things like in a incredibly unorthodox way, and like you actually have to problem solve. Like you can't just like, oh, let's
Yep.
just slap in the engine, slap in these graphics. The
First,
game's
first game that comes to mind for me, Stardew Valley, man.
the
Just
game's
a one
120 gigabytes. Like
Stardew Valley, one man passion project. One of those situations where I feel like if the music, the gameplay, the visuals weren't done by who they were done by, my boy Eric Barone, it just wouldn't have been quite the same. It's just the brainchild of one man. You know what I mean? I'm sure it got so explosively big. I'd like to think he got some people to help him out. But even from the beginning, the Stardew charm was there. So that's the AAA versus indie thing. There's always going to be so much passion on the indie side, man.
yeah, and that's also not the to play devil's advocate. That's not to discredit like AAA. Like it's not all dog shit in the modern day, just mostly dog shit. But I will say like indie will always have it will always corner the market on passion.
I'm a Nintendo boy, so I can speak to the Nintendo AAA titles, and across the board, pretty good, man. I gotta say. I'm gonna be doing some talking about Tears of the Kingdom. If that's not up by now, it will be up. But
Yeah.
that's now look. That's funny. We're going from $60 to $70 MSRP on a game. If you're gonna do it on a game, this is the one to do it on, man. Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, Nintendo started doing that shit too.
Yep, $70. I gotta tell you, sure didn't hurt sales because it sold 10 million in the first 3 days. Yeah, 10 million 3 days. I think they said it's the highest selling Zelda of all time,
Man, that's
or the fastest selling. Sorry.
man, Square Enix really got the ball rolling with that new $70 shit.
Yeah. But on the Iron Lung side, of course,
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we don't want to.
I like the graphic style. That's like a no-brainer. I know we haven't been doing this particular podcast for long, but I've in the past championed the just I like to call it shitty, but I mean that in such an
Yeah.
endearing way, but like shitty PlayStation graphics type shit. Like even if that sounds ignorant, you know what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's why I love Quake. I love that old just chunky 3D. I love shit like like Perfect Dark, GoldenEye, shit that just looks uh, sometimes almost funny. Now in this situation, there aren't really faces and big dumb heads in Iron Lung.
Yeah.
Not a lot of human. You don't really see a human, and that's a good thing. You only really see some of the bizarre shit in this blood ocean, or you see the fish. You get glimpses of it. You see these portals under the water that are kind of like the main sights to see.
Yeah.
Because you're going around and you're photographing these specific sites that are marked with some type of significance, and it's like this phenomena, like there's a portal that leads to the type of speculation we talk about afterwards. What are those portals? Where did they go? Where did they come from? Why is that what they're researching underneath this ocean of blood? Whose fucking blood is it? You know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah.
endless questions. And the funny thing is, I think of something like Little Nightmares 2. Whenever I finish that game, blew my mind. Just mind blown, sitting there shitting myself for like an hour and a half. Just credits already rolled, Switch already went to sleep, and I'm just blown away. But it's because of crushing realization, because of everything hitting home. This is an opposite effect. I mean, it's similar effect with an opposite outcome.
You
We don't. The only thing that hits home is that you were just
how
yeeted into
how little you learned.
right.
Yeah, from the beginning to end, like you never really you got a bunch of questions, you never got any answers.
But you're so damn intrigued That's the thing.
Yeah.
And then we go afterwards and we watch shit about it. And I'm sure that's the only reason, or not the only reason, but the primary reason someone would stumble upon something like what we're doing here, talking about Iron Lung, you know. Just the speculation. You want to hear from different people what they think, and maybe they've dug deeper into it. Like I said, these people really did the most. Some of these content creators with digging into the terminal and uh, finding the commands. You know, you type certain shit in and you get certain entries. There's a lot to it, you know, but you still don't quite get answers. You just get like a little bit of a nudge towards kind of like what you were already thinking in a way, you know.
Yeah.
You kind of know, okay, yeah, there's something in these portals under the water, and they're definitely too spooked to come down here themselves. So they'd rather send somebody disposable down there that they don't give two shits about, and they know won't make it out anyway, but they'll still get these photos.
But
So
that's also part of like, cause like that was like my same like thought process. And that's kind of what like made me like sort of lean towards like there is no real answer. Like it's kind of just like there for seasoning. It's like if they all, because one of the entries you're talking about where you can like put in a little code, or and also there's like a little piece of paper on the ground. It's like
yeah,
whatever the scientists are or like the big baddies. It's they clearly want to know what's down there. Which in that case, what is the point of sending you down there if they know you're gonna die? Because it one of the entries literally states that there's the good submarines that are like durable and shit like that, and then there's the shitty iron lungs. So why even send you down there in the first place if they know you're gonna die? And why make you take pictures, which they also do want? Like they want the pictures, but they know you're gonna die and you can't upload them. It's literally like hard copy photos.
well, I mean, I get the vibe that these photos are being like transmitted to them.
I swear to God, like early in the, I think it's like early in the game, like there's no radio like communication because there it can't get through all the blood.
If you look in the terminal in the back, they have an entry that refers to them sending a scientist down, I believe, and in a decent craft. Now, they underestimated, of course, because I think he got ripped to shreds and he was fucked. So I guess this is still them experimenting. You know, this is like, okay, well, we lost a very important scientist and now we don't have him. We should definitely take a different route and maybe try something a bit more disposable.
No, yeah, fair enough.
So let's assume that you can't transmit the photos to him. They might not get them at all, but this is just a trial run. It makes it more interesting that you might be the only one who knows. You might know something in the short time you're alive down here that they don't know. So we get to see that from a viewer or player's perspective. Now that's interesting.
I suppose, because I mean it. I think it's still a little. I already said. I keep saying it, but yeah, I think it's either the little paper on the ground or the terminal that they have established that like it's now a common practice. It's like, oh, you're a prisoner, dude, getting the iron lung. Like they're just like shipping them out like like they're off to war or something.
Well, they probably expect them to fail. So maybe if one of them happens to make it back, then they have just what they need. They just need one person to make it with what they need, and maybe no one will. It's kind of interesting though. It kind of in conclusion of this, you kind of come out realizing that you are not the only one here. There's others like you, but we just get this singular experience of this one unfortunate criminal, I guess, you know?
Yeah. He jaywalked
Don't even know
too
if he
hard.
jaywalker. Yep, we don't even know if he's guilty of what he did, man. That's the justice system for you.
That's
But
how they get you.
until maybe we get some type of new glimpse into the film, or maybe we see it, I think we talked a good bit about it. And we touched upon basically what there is to touch on. Like I said, it's not a traditional review. We're not going to rate the
Yeah.
gameplay and the sound design. It's all there. I mean, there's nothing done shittily. It's all well done. So, is there anything you wanted to throw in about Iron Lung in conclusion, brother?
Uh, didn't in the Iron Lung, didn't that one article? It said that Markiplier was directing and also starring in it. Do you think he's gonna be John Iron Lung?
I think he's gonna be homie in the long, man.
Please tell me at the end there's the fish jump scare and he does his shitty YouTuber reaction. That'd be incredible.
Yeah, that'd be funny if it just ended and he was like a gamer and he was playing it the whole time.
Yeah, that truly is the darkest timeline.
And then the movie winds up being a trailer for the VR version of Iron Lung.
Oh boy.
We'll have to see, brother.
Maybe that's the true horror.
Maybe it is. But Splicko and I are going to do another segment, by the way. We're going to be reviewing the Resident Evil 4 remake. Now, I don't know how traditional we're even going to be on that. I don't think we're going to be rating the mechanics 5 stars or whatever out of 5 stars. We're just going to do a good old talk about it, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best to, cause trust me, this isn't even a can of worms. It's like a 5-gallon drum of worms that I will do my best to skirt around, but like
Well, we're gonna skirt over to that so you can talk
yeah,
about it.
it's gonna be like a 30-minute episode or something. I could make that shit like 2 hours.
I know, but we're gonna try to condense it to 30 minutes or
Yeah.
so.
I will contain myself for the viewers.
We've got quite a bit of shit planned. We're gonna move into the RE4 remake. That's gonna be a separate upload. But this has been the Iron Lung Talk. This was the next thing we had planned, and of course, our RE4 came out, and that has to be talked about. So, Splicko and I are gonna jump on over. If that hasn't come out yet, look forward to it. If it has, check it out if you're into RE4, specifically the remake. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Hell yeah! Peace out, gamers.